Where's your mask?
My mask?
You don't need it, but I'm just curious.
Look at that. Hang on.
Hey, you're totally wearing pants.
Oh, sure. I just have khaki legs. And no genitals. Look at that. It was pretty hardcore.
I talked to your manager today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. We mostly talked about Sway of MTV News.
Oh, yes.
I think he was trying to work out a deal with him for you. Maybe he'll host your show or something. That's part of my intimidation, is pretending I'm David Duchovny and drinking wine at people. Are you ready to do a reading?
Oh, yeah. I'm ready to be read.
Well, just so you know, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going to make it up as I go along.
That's the way it should be.
No, I'm just kidding. I kind of know what I'm doing. But bear with me, because I'm kind of an idiot.
Yeah, I mean, I knew that before I FaceTimed you.
And you still did it. You're kind of nasty. Do you have to do that every morning?
I hope not. Today was the first morning. I told my mom I'm done with this shit. No more.
First day.
Yeah.
Snow shoveling in your future.
There's some really cool noises coming from your apartment.
Really? Because it's pretty quiet here.
Welcome. I'm here with the man we call the executioner because he's always killing it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Pepito. Ah, damn it. Hey. Oh, wow. Yes. Pepito, did you put on a Christmas sweater? Did you surprise me?
It's red. Christmas red. It's Lobos.
Ah, okay.
Viva la Lobos. I don't know.
I've got my Garfield Christmas sweater. Christmas cardigan.
Wow.
I told you I was going to come with my Christmas game.
What?
Yes. And Soy Treats in the chat says the Christmas Kangle. And I must agree. Pepito, let's face it, we gotta ask, how the hell are you?
So good.
All right, I'm gonna try to play your I don't have my apology button to make the words apology fly all over the screen, but I do want to apologize quickly. I had no idea over the last few episodes that the beat hasn't been playing on the stream and nobody has been hearing it because it's been playing for me. It just hasn't been going out and broadcasting. And that drives me crazy. I'm excited to play the beat you made for this episode. And I'm going to be looking at the chat right now. If the beat isn't heard, please let me know so I can figure it out and play it. Let's hear that beat, Pepito.
Yeah.
Execution style in Carlsbad, Mexico.
Oh, now it's not.
Execution style in Carlsbad, Mexico.
Where no disturbance can be. Where no disturbance in the world.
Execution style in Carlsbad, Mexico.
Larry Barker investigate. Anybody else looking for a hand?
Execution style in Carlsbad, Mexico.
Anybody else looking for a hand?
News?
Reporting you trust.
Wow. Pepito. That was
Conda.
phenomenal.
You're phenomenal.
I thank you for it. Welcome to our, I guess this is kind of our Christmas episode because we're not going to be having another one before Christmas. So I thank you for that gift that you have delivered to us, Pepito.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome. Fa la 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 la.
Damn, dude. Hang on. You wanna do a solo real quick?
La 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 la.
Thank you very much. 'Tis the season now, truly.
Coming out!
What the hell?
Execution style in Carlsbad, New Mexico.
I don't want. Okay, we're good. All right, sorry. I just thought I saw something in the chat. It wasn't there. As you can see, everybody, we have I have a
Knock that shit
new.
off. That's it.
Oh.
Sorry.
Oh, that was that tripped me out for a second.
Me too.
Which one was that?
That's-
That's the start the show. I don't
Ooh.
even remember what that one is. That
Yeah, it's
totally
not-
threw me for a loop. I was all of a sudden hearing sound that I didn't plan to play, but that's about the fifth time that's happened so far in this episode that is just gotten started. So it was not unusual. And yeah, as I was saying, I'm here at my new location. I have a new set, and that might seem strange. Why would I debut a new set when we are so close to starting Caveman News Season 2? That would have been perfect to debut the new season with a new set, but if I'm anything, Pepito, you know I'm an impatient man. So I packed up my stuff. I've got a new studio location here on the Calle del Diablo. And yeah, so this is my new set. I need to figure some stuff out, but this is it, Pepito.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, I hit the camera with that one. That one was good.
I have a print of that painting, and I
Of
always
which one?
the blue head guy,
Yeah.
and I always stare at the lighter because you painted that lighter so well.
Yeah, it came out nice. I like it.
It looks like it really has lettering on the little white part.
For
The
sure. And I like
sticker.
the hand. I'm really proud of the hand on that one. But
Quite a
we don't
hand.
need to. What?
What a hand. Okay.
Yeah, give him a hand for the hand. It's nice. That's. Well, thank you very much. We can spend all day talking about paintings, but this is a big show. We have a lot to get to. And one of the things is a new segment on the show here is where we look at Dear Abby letters to the into the paper.
Yeah.
Were you ever a reader of Dear Abby?
Yes, I've read them before.
Yeah. Okay, let me see. Okay. This one. All right.
It's a
Well,
great John Prine song.
oh yeah? Do you want to sing it real quick?
No, well, dear Abby, something's okay. That's enough. You
You're
are
taking
what
off
you
the sweater.
are,
It
and
is
you
hot.
ain't
It
what
is
you
hot.
ain't.
Okay. Now, let me see where. Okay, here it is. So, oh, I gotta go back to the two shot. The both of us. Which button? There it is.
I'm free.
Okay, now we're back. Speaking of Dear Abby, we Soy Trees in the chat says love John Prine.
Yeah.
And that's okay, that really convinces me because I'm not familiar with John Prine at all. But if two of the founding members of Caveman News are fans, then that warrants a look. I should check out John Prine.
Fuck COVID.
Yeah, fuck COVID. Pepito with the station uniform.
Yes. Official.
Oh, that okay. You were saying that you have the logo on the shirt.
The Caveman
But-
News badge.
I can't see it, so
It's all right.
but
It's the same thing as on the microphone.
oh well then I get it. I get it. Anyway, I was gonna say one of the new things we're doing on the show is looking at Dear Abby letters, and specifically ones that were printed on this day many years ago. And ideally, we will be calling Brittany and having her answer these Dear Abby letters, these questions and whatnot. But we have so much to get to tonight. Let's just get into it. Let's just look at these Dear Abby letters. Okay, I hit this button. All right, now this first one, I have. Okay, yeah, I wanted to. I have written here that I need to set the scene before putting this first Dear Abby letter. So this was a Dear Abby column that was written and published on this day in 1970, I believe. I have two of them. One's 1970 and one's 1980. I think this is 1970. Regardless, it's timeless. The important thing to note is that for the entirety of this Dear Abby column, there were a bunch of people writing in to tell her that she was wrong and the minimum wage is not it. She okay. Let me think. She thought the minimum wage was higher than it actually is, and there were tons of people writing in to say no. The minimum wage for wait staff is very low, and then you get tips if you know. That's you understand, right, Pepito?
Yes. It's
Okay. So this
Very
first
low.
one is somebody writing in to talk about tips. And let's see here. Oh wait, nope, that's the wrong one. That's not what I thought it was. Okay, I don't know where the Dear Abby ones are. Anyway, all this to say, if I could figure out what buttons the Dear Abby letters were on, one of them was I wanted to make a critique against Dear Abby because she said, you know, she was backing the employers and saying, well, if they paid the wait staff higher wages, then they would have to charge more for the food and all this stuff. And I just wanted to say, I never knew Dear Abby was an enemy of the people. And
shit.
Soy Teresa says 217 back in the day probably still is. And yeah. And then there was also another person who wrote in to discuss tipping, and they said that they're a Christian man and they believe that in the Bible it says you have to tithe 10% of your income, and this person didn't feel comfortable giving more than 10% in a tip, because if God's only getting 10%, why is a waiter or waitress getting, 20% or whatever? So this person says the Bible justifies only tipping 9% or whatever. And I was just aghast that somebody would be that, not only that cruel and inconsiderate, but then to publicly write about it. That'd be there'd be a lot more to it if I could remember what buttons to press to get to that, but I say we just move on. This is a big episode.
Nice
That
shot.
was my guitar. I hit my
G string.
guitar there. No, I think it was the D.
E.
I don't know. It could have been the A. Who knows? I don't know. Do you have perfect pitch?
I don't think so. I wish.
Well, hey, you never know if you don't test it. The minimum Soy Teresa says the minimum wage is $3 in New Mexico. Jeez Louise. That is cruel. I can't imagine.
That's
What
too
if
low.
you're not getting the big, you'd have to get some really big tips to be able to survive on $3 an hour. I don't understand it.
You have to really kiss some ass.
Well, and even then, it's not guaranteed. So what does it say? Okay. I have to scroll here. Oh, and Soy Teresa says that's for servers. I have another topic I wanted to get to really quick. Pepito, you know that I'm a fan of Pluto TV, the best streaming service out there.
Yes. Good one.
And I love to watch the old sitcoms and things like this. I can't remember what I was watching. It was a couple of weeks back, but I was watching an episode of some old black and white sitcom, and it might have been Father Knows Best. But the whole plot of the episode was about the father of the household wanting to be named. The city was doing an honorable, like, man of the city for this year or whatever,
Yeah.
and they were going to announce it by the person was going to have a telegram. Whoever won it was going to have a telegram delivered to their house at exactly 6 p.m. Wow. And I was thinking, gosh, telegrams would be sick. We should bring that back. Like, I wish I could have, write a letter to somebody and say, okay, show up at their doorstep at exactly this time and give it to them. God, we need to bring that back. Maybe we could start a telegram service.
Yeah, annual subscription gets you a predetermined telegram every so.
Yeah. And Soy Treese in the chat says, I thought you were a Quibi man. And that too. I think, you know what? I'm going to preemptively say Netflix, HBO, whatever. Don't try to come and make an offer on Caveman News, because we're not going to take it. You will never see Caveman News.
Let's get this hard.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Soy Teresa also says, let's get this started. But my point being, we will never bow to you, Netflix, and any of the big streaming services. But if Pluto TV wants to have a 24-hour Caveman News channel that just plays random Caveman News episodes, I just got our Twitch stats, and we streamed something like 66 hours this year. I mean, you could just run that shit nonstop.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe Quibi. I would be open to Quibi. Would you be open to Quibi?
I don't know what Quibi is.
That was the streaming service where it was Quibi was short for Quick Bites,
Oh,
and it was supposed to be short little things that you could watch on your phone, like when you're doing something else. Like that was the whole pitch. But then COVID happened right when they launched, and it was like, oh, nobody's leaving their house and doing shit. So it went under insanely fast. But I
longer
don't know.
for
I like the failure of Quibi. And so yeah, if Pluto TV or Quibi wants us, I would not be opposed. Let's see if I can hit the camera. No, I cannot. That was a bad one. Okay, now this is geez, we're so far into the show and it hasn't even started yet. I have an update from my grandfather that I have to include.
hell yeah.
Are you familiar with Peter Hurd?
No.
Okay, well, you're about to be, because they just named Peter Hurd's ranch a National Historic Landmark. He's a great New Mexico artist, painter. Big shout out. Love you, Peter Hurd. I'm
Wow.
pretty sure he hasn't been alive for a long time, but whatever. The reason I wanted to bring that up is because one of my favorite stories about Peter Hurd was hired to do the official presidential portrait for President LBJ, Lyndon Baines Johnson. And, that's a big honor. This New Mexico guy, he gets to do the official presidential painting. It's quite the honor. And so he went to the White House to present Johnson with LBJ with the painting, and LBJ basically said it looked like shit, and he fucking hated it. So what Peter Hurd did was he grabbed some White House stationery while he was there, and then he went to a bar,
Oh yeah.
and he made a crude little sketch of LBJ, and my grandpa owns the sketch. My step grandma Beverly bought him the actual sketch, and that it has a prominent place in his house. I love this sketch. It's on White House stationery. It's big badass. So Peter Hurd was in the news. I couldn't believe I've never brought up the LBJ sketch before, but there's a time for it. And Cinderoni says that's
That's
badass,
easy.
and that's even more badass. And I agree.
Is that
Fucking love that. What?
his nose, that shape?
Oh yeah. That's so good. And I've seen the portrait of LBJ that Peter Hurd did, and it looks exactly like him. LBJ's a fucking asshole, man. That guy sucked. I'm not an LBJ fan. Okay, so the Peter Hurd news, we have gotten to that.
Ooh.
What does this say? Hang on. I gotta scroll up. I have my type on the chat, the font here way big.
Brother Bink says, I
Okay.
saw a meme that said, I call her Lyndon, by the way, she be on my Johnson.
Oh yeah. Okay. The way she brains my Johnson. I get it. This next thing, gosh, I can't believe we're not even starting the actual meat of the show yet. This is embarrassing.
We're just on the,
How deep into the weeds we get.
we're skirting the plate. We're still on the potatoes.
We're getting there, man. We're getting very close. I have one last thing. I wanted to have a quick mention about Bob Forrest.
Bobby.
And I believe you know why, Pepito.
Oh.
Well, you told me I could say it.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, you don't care?
No.
Okay. I just wanted to mention that Pepito was telling me that after the experiments episode, when we talked about Mayor Bob Forrest pledging to give Stefania Fellini $50 for staying 4 months in the cave, which is disrespectful. $50 for that? You crazy? Well, I mean, whatever. But you told me after the fact that you had a Bob Forrest story that you almost said but didn't say. And I thought, why the hell would you not say this? And the story, from what I recall of your telling, was basically that Bob Forrest pissed on a wall in front of you. Is that what it was?
Yeah, just nonchalantly, just whips
Just
it out.
whipped it out and
Just
pissed on a
starts
wall in
pissing
front of
on.
you?
Yeah, he was cool though. He wasn't showy.
That's
It
not
was
cool.
it was just
It's not cool. You're so apologetic. I mean, no. I mean, that's not cool. And also, in further Bob Forrest shit talking, one of the things I forgot to get to in the experiments episode is the $50 he promised Stefania Fellini. He wrote, or he took a $50 bill and ripped it in half and gave her half of it when she went in the cave. And then he's like, when you get out, you can get the other half. I mean, this is the richest man in the world. I don't know. That's just disgusting behavior. I love this. I love that drop. That's my favorite sound alert. Maybe I don't know. I like the Twanda one as well.
I wonder if Fellini had a car. He could have at least thrown in some tires for her.
Why? Oh yeah, he's a tire man. Why am I not seeing? I'm not seeing all of the chat. I don't know what's going on. What? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cinderoni says asshole, and I agree. Okay. Oh my god. Okay, this is the last one before we get into the actual show. I wanted to thank Brother Binks in the chat for his suggestion last week about our ops list, our list of enemies. I'm thinking maybe hanging it around here somewhere. And I also think that we should bring back something because we have kind of begun down this road when we established the Boo Zoo for bozos. And the only inductee so far is the Carlsbad Tavern in, where is it?
Scottsdale.
Scottsdale, Arizona. Their Carlsbad, New Mexico themed restaurant that is just ridiculously offensive.
With the Red River nachos.
So yeah, we're gonna call our ops list that Brother Bink suggested. We're gonna bring back the Boo Zoo and start putting bozos in there. And Big Boo. I forgot to get a sound clip for booing, but you get the idea. And also, I wanted to say, Brother Binks,
You's a fool, baby. What's wrong with you, man? Sick.
Come on,
God, I threw that one. Cobra just ran to attack my index card. I threw across the room.
Hell yeah, cat toy.
I also wanted to hang on. What is this? The type is so big I have to scroll up to see what this is.
Oh.
Forrest goes on the Boozoo list, right? Yes. Okay, so that's this week's induction to the Boozoo for bozos. Is Bob Forrest is in there, and the last thing on this is that Pepito and I have been discussing it. And when we make our next set of credits for the show, we're going to name Brother Binks as the official strategist of Caveman News. That's your new title. So Cindy's our astrologist, and Brother Binks is now our strategist. So our credits are building. They're getting even longer.
And our team is getting stronger.
Are you ready to start this show?
Yes, let's start this show.
I keep almost slipping on my index cards because I'm throwing them willy-nilly, and when I step on them, I can feel my feet kind of go.
Wow.
So I feel eventually I'm gonna make a big fall, and that's gonna be funny.
Wow,
let's start the actual what?
sliding on post-its or postcards or
Index cards.
index cards.
Nobody sends me postcards. I wish they did. Shit, I wish they did. So
Oh,
now we are officially starting the show, and it's only 32 minutes into the hour-long show. And I say, let's get right into it. And this week we are discussing Carlsbad's first legal execution. And let's see what that's all about. This is a story with some twists and turns. And you know what? I was thinking, how am I going to play coy and ease into this? I'm just going to get out right in front of it and say, I think the man that was hung, I think it was wrong that they killed him. I think in the same way in our treasures episode, we heard about Doc Noss, who said he found a bunch of gold. And then the government's like, somebody just killed him. And then the government's like, no, the gold wasn't real. And I'm like, no, I believe Doc Noss. I think he wasn't a grifter like you're trying to say. And in the same way, I think this man that was executed was not I don't know. Let's get into it. Oh, wait, that's the Dear Abby? Golly, that's crazy.
30 minutes later.
Okay, we're moving on past the Dear Abby. I'm beyond that right now. Here we go. Are you ready to read?
Yes.
Thank you.
Still arrogant. Barrett hanged with boots off. Sunday, February 9th, 1947.
Yeah. Wow. I hope I get
Boots.
that type of coverage when the state murders me.
You will. Eddie Folk joined by mass from surrounding area to see public execution of desperado who boasted of killing and then murdered.
Wow. Okay. So that's where we are. So that's establishes the man who was killed was James Barrett. And let's learn a bit more about him.
Sunday, February 9th, 1947. It had been a little over a year before that a stranger had come riding in from Texas. He soon became known as a dangerous man and seemed to enjoy the reputation of bad man and killer. His talk ran upon the theme of shooting encounters and was feared by the whole community. Many people thought that James Barrett had been the leader of a gang of desperados, but that was never substantially proved.
Okay, so they're claiming that he was a desperado with a gang and everything. Sounds like a bad guy, don't you think?
Yes.
Let's keep that in mind. Let's look at what happened and see if he seems like the leader of a gang and a truly dangerous man.
After trying his luck at the gambling tables of Phoenix,
Yep.
south of present-day Carlsbad, he found a job on the Seven Rivers McMillan Dam, which was then under construction. Foreman of the project was Boston Witt, father of Mrs. Georgia Lusk, present Congresswoman from New Mexico. Wow.
Okay, so he spent his time in Phoenix. We love Phoenix. That is a fascinating thing. And if anybody is seeing this and has not watched a million of these episodes or been told about Carlsbad history, Phoenix was the town that was set up on the outskirts of Carlsbad, primarily because it was illegal to serve liquor in Carlsbad. So they were like, well, we're just going to go and start our own town right outside of it. And that's what Phoenix was. And that is where this man Barrett hung out.
Wow. About 3 o'clock one morning, Barrett set out to prove to the camp that his talk of killing was not mere bragging. With a sawed-off shotgun, he forced watchman Jacob Schwab to hold a lantern while he calmly shot two sleeping men, Jack Holohan, and James Barnes, fellow workers who had defended Barrett on several occasions. No motive other than savagery was ever known for this cold-blooded murder.
Wow.
Oops, had to prove it.
So, I mean, he does sound like, but I do like that he, well, hang on. Can you read the chat, Pepito?
She said, Cinderoni says, that is such an eerie thing to imagine. And
Yeah.
Brother Bink says, Phoenix, as I've been told, was on the site of the present-day Stevens Inn, which is owned by the Forrest family.
Well, I'd forgotten that the Forrest family had ties to the Stevens Inn. We might be getting a bit deeper. My conspiracy brain is going wild here. Let's get deeper and deeper. Okay. All right. You got this?
Barrett then walked outside the tent and commenced talking to the dogs, saying to one in hearing of the watchman, well, Patty, old boy, we got our men and they are the right ones too. They'll be after us, but we will fight them to a finish. Barrett then left the camp on foot, armed with the double-barrel shotgun and a revolver.
Wow. So
he talks to dogs.
This ruthless gang leader desperado and just walked away and told the dog to come with him. Patty, presumably. Good boy, Patty. Okay. Now, here we go. You got this?
Not to be outdone, they went outside the town site and founded Phoenix and Lone Wolf. Crude business houses were set up and gambling parlors, houses of vice, seamy saloons, and boisterous dance halls flourished. Is this what you wanted me to read?
No, I don't think so. I think I missed something here.
That was like a
Phoenix
here we description. I guess I'm the man you want. On looking around, Kemp saw Barrett about 40 yards distant from him. Kemp told Barrett he was after him and told him to lay down his gun and step away from it if he wanted to give up without making in resistance. Barrett obeying, although Barrett had every advantage and could have killed Kemp and probably made good his escape even then.
Wow, so this ruthless madman had the jump on Sheriff Kemp. But he just gave him, he said, yeah,
that's not.
He laid down his guns. He let himself be taken in. I don't see what a threat this man is. It seems like they quickly were able to resolve it. But that name Kemp, Sheriff Kemp, that stuck in my head. I was saying, I've read somewhere about Sheriff Kemp. Where is it? Now here's where we read this part.
Not to be outdone, they went outside the townsite and founded Phoenix and Lone Wolf. Crude business houses were set up and gambling parlors, houses of vice, seamy saloons, and boisterous dance halls flourished unmolested. In early day Sheriff Dave Kemp was a partner in a saloon and gambling parlor.
Wow. So the sheriff was a partner of these, they talk about Phoenix as a town of outlaws and sin and vice and all of these things. But the sheriff of town happened to be and have a stake in some of the stuff. That sounds kind of wild to me, especially considering that Barrett could have killed Kemp,
Yeah,
as we just heard about. So very strange. I'm skeptical and wondering about this Kemp. He sounds like he could be corrupt. Hey,
yeah.
I don't know. ACAD goes back to 1894, apparently.
Okay, Friday, March 9th, 1894. Van Cleve and Burroughs have been ordered to appear at Lincoln as witnesses in the Barrett murder trial, the former as an expert on insanity.
Wow.
The case will be called Wednesday, the 21st. There are several witnesses in jail here for the safekeeping.
And I wonder why that is.
Oh, yeah.
Jailing witnesses so that they're safe? What do you think?
That's a way of controlling.
Yeah, that seems very strange. I mean, as established, Barrett is in custody and in jail. So what's he going to do? I guess
know, he can't kill.
they're trying to build on this. He's a ruthless gang leader and desperado and everything, but if he was, why did he turn himself in so easily?
Yeah.
And then why are you jailing witnesses? I've never heard of that before. Have you?
Well, I'm sure that's happened, but
Yeah, but
it's not-
have you heard of it? That's the
it's-
question.
it's not. It seems nefarious and wrong.
Absolutely. I don't know. I would hate to witness something and then be jailed because of it, because I saw something. Okay.
Friday, March 30th, 1894. At Lincoln, last Saturday, a jury found James Barrett guilty of murder in the first degree. Judge Freeman sentenced him to hanged in Eddy by Sheriff Kemp on Saturday, April 21st, to be hanged.
Well, that's what it should say, but it doesn't. It just says two hanged, right?
To hanged in Eddy.
I think that's a malfunction. I think they messed up.
Oh,
I don't know. I don't want to. I don't want to cast dispersions, but
I mean,
what?
things were so analog back then.
You know, they couldn't. They saw it and they did a typo, and they're like, "Shit, we haven't included backspace yet." So
We're white out.
we're kind of stuck with this. I guess that's what they're saying here. So let's talk about the actual execution itself. Here we go.
The execution was to be performed by Dave Kemp, of course.
Hang on. So yeah, the execution is done by this
The guy hiding everything.
this sheriff who happens to be a saloon owner and gambling house owner.
You know what?
Who's I don't know. This whole thing puts a bad taste in my mouth, and I know I am very ACAB and untrusting of police, but this cop is dirty. I'm not. It doesn't sit well with me. Let's go.
The execution was to be performed by Dave Kemp, Eddy County's first sheriff, and who was already famous as a law enforcement officer. The gallows had been erected and all was in readiness. The time was rapidly approaching. Soon, the crowd, many women included, began moving toward the cemetery where the hanging was to take place. Oh,
Yeah. What?
Hang him where he'll lie.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, shortly before 1:30 p.m., the sheriff and prisoner arrived. Barrett was riding astride his own casket. Wow. A wave of excitement ran through the crowd. How could a man jest at his own death like that?
What a true badass. I'm sorry. I'm a Barrett fan.
Yeah.
Riding to your execution on top of the casket. I mean, I'm like, okay, I see you, James Barrett, and I get your joke. It's funny to me.
Calmly, Barrett dismounted from the hearse and methodically shuffled up the 13 steps to death, cussing each step as he climbed.
Yeah.
He strode to the center of the platform, deputy on either side, and glared angrily at the sea of faces. Sheriff Kemp asked him if he had anything to say.
Okay. Well, he asked him. I feel like I might have messed up my buttons, but Soy Trace in the chat says he goes on the opposite of the bozo list. There's the boozoo for bozos, but yeah, he goes on the opposite. We'll talk more about the ending of season 1 here that is nigh upon us. We'll get into that at the end of the show, but let's continue here. He asked he asked Barrett if he had anything to say. Hang on, what is this? Is there something new here? Oh, nope, there's nothing new here. I'm just okay.
Yes, replied Barrett. My father always told me that I would die with my boots on. I don't want that to happen. With that, he stooped over and pulled off his boots. Then, bravado to the last, and with the majestic sweep of an orator, he tossed his cufflinks and the tie pin to friends in the crowd.
Wow. That is sick. What in the hell? Okay, first of all, why did his father always tell him that he would die with his boots on? That's crazy.
I had
Shut
a
the hell up,
vision.
Dad. Is that a? I'm wondering if that is a 1894 type of phrase that we don't say anymore. But you're gonna die with your boots on.
Yeah,
That's crazy. What does that even mean?
maybe
Isn't
it's
it
like
honorable to die with your boots on? Is he saying you're gonna die? Well, I guess maybe if you had your boots off, that would be you'd be comfortable in your death. I don't know. I don't
yeah.
know what this dude's dad is trying to say.
He had a vision.
Okay, and we got that. And now, oh wait, I hit the wrong button. Let's see if I can find my place. Is this where? Okay, there we go. All right. And Pepito, I told you I had a little surprise for you. You're going to need to unmute your ninja
Done.
because I was able to find the transcript basically of Barrett's speech he gave right before he died.
Oh, Brother Bink says that saying means live fast, die young.
Okay.
Oh,
hell yeah.
That makes sense. Strategist, Brother Binks.
He
And
knows.
it-
He's got the strategy.
Cinderoni says, yeah, I think it's like the opposite of dying in your sleep of old age or sick or whatever.
So why is this guy's dad saying you're not gonna die peaceful? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not into it. Okay, but
It's like LFG. What is LFG?
oh, let's fucking go.
Oh. Go, Soy Teresa, go.
Okay, so I found a transcript of the speech, the what Cinderoni says, well, I doubt any Desperado's dad was a nice guy. And I don't know. I don't think Barrett was a Desperado, but that's it. Anyway, I found the transcript of this speech that Barrett gave on the gallows right before being hung. And it was very moving, but as you might have guessed, he does kind of drag it out, you know? I mean, wouldn't you? You got that's the last your last moments, like I can see myself just saying, okay, what else? What else? What else do I need to say?
Yeah.
So there is a lot of rambling. So I condensed it. I got down to just the important parts of what he said. And I sent it to the resident acting expert for Caveman News, our acting expert that we have on staff, Brandon Price McDaniel. And I sent him a transcript and I said, can you act this out and send me a recording so we can play it? I thought, hey, he's a great actor. So let's listen to
a contemporary.
Yeah, a take on Barrett's speech.
So Teresa says,
Gentlemen, I have a few remarks to make and want to tell you goodbye. First, I want to say, gentlemen, have I done any harm to any man? Is there a man in this crowd that I have wronged? Or do I owe anything to anybody? Speak out! I I turned the tables on Jack, and if I had not done so, he would have killed me, sure. But just because I killed Jack, you all say, hang him, hang him. Gentlemen, it is only but a moment now before my life will leave my body. I will tell you right now that I am a man, and I will die like a man. Gentlemen, let me alone. I'm saying this. I'm 21 years old. Gentlemen, I hope to meet you in heaven. I'm only a wicked man, but die in self-defense. I did it in self-defense. I've been a rascal all my life. Now I'm going away from you. Goodbye. I'm not afraid of this thing. Let her go.
Wow. Huge thank you to Brando for that. I was telling you, Pepito, I wouldn't tell you what I outsourced for somebody to do for this show because I wanted to surprise you. And I kept waiting for the Caveman News phone to ring so he could leave the message on the answering machine. And it wasn't there. And I was like, oh my God, am I going to have to print this out and read it myself so that we can get it? But then I checked Facebook Messenger and Brando had sent that. That wasn't him talking. I think he got somebody else. What do you think?
I was thinking that was him. He was just really good at not sounding like
you
him.
think so? I don't know. Maybe it is. I don't know. I was like, is this somebody else? But also I enjoy the sound effects that he put into it.
Dude, that was really cool.
Yeah, I loved it. I was blown away. I really enjoyed that. He did bear it honorably, but I do love to speak about the speech itself. I do love Barrett saying, "I've been a rascal all my life." Oof. And I like when he says that if I'm such a bad man, who in this crowd have I wronged? Speak up, you know?
Yeah, and
That's
I'm
very
just
sick.
defending myself by defending myself.
Right. Okay. So here we go. Papito.
What's that? The sheriff began counting. 1, 2. Time was dragging like a century now. 3, 4. It was 1:30 on the dot. A knife flashed through the air and cut the rope. The body of James Barrett plummeted downward. The crowd broke out into pandemonium, and rightly so, too, for Barrett had hit the ground flat-footed with not an inch of rope to spare.
Wow. So just when you thought we had reached the apex of this story, the peak, they drop him and his feet hit the ground. Can you imagine?
I can, because that's just what gravity will do.
Well, you're not supposed to when you're hanging. When you're hanging, you're supposed
without
to
an inch to spare.
Right. So Dave Kemp fucked up because ideally his feet would be off the ground and he would be hanging. He wouldn't drop down and just be standing there.
For a second, I thought his rope had broke or neck had
No.
snapped. Okay.
It was too long. And because I'm sorry, I am a big enemy of Dave Kemp now. So
yeah, fuck him.
He's also in the boozoo for bozos. Dave Kemp, get out of here. But yeah, so I just want to mention Soy Teresa in the chat said I defend myself, Sean. Do you remember that? That's kind of an inside joke, Papito, but do you remember that?
Is that the attack?
That was when you, CJ, and I fought Sean, our film critic on the show here,
Yeah.
and Sean got really frustrated and he said to me, "I defended myself, Sean." He like got confused and called me by his own name. Very
Anyone
funny to me.
I love you guys.
Oh,
I love you guys.
is that the Sean AI? Wow. Thank you, Sean AI.
You're worth it.
Thank you.
Good AI, Sean. He's more.
What is
He's
that?
always there.
Yeah, here we go.
Whether this happened by carelessness or by intent of confederates of Barrett's, no one will ever know. However, the sheriff was not long in remedying the situation. A shovel was nearby, and Kemp grabbed it and began digging under Barrett's feet. The hard sod slowly began to inch away. Stroke by stroke, the rope was becoming tighter. What? Hold on, step aside while I dig it.
Exactly. And they're trying to say, "Oh, maybe Barrett planned it out and he had friends that made sure the rope wasn't, was too long and everything." It's like, no, dude. Dave Kemp is a bozo. He messed it up. Either he's really stupid or he's cruel and he wanted Barrett to be make his death more excruciating. Here we go.
The crowd was silent again now, stern looking and a little awed. A gentle weeping could be heard from the hillside where the women from the red light district of Phoenix, Carlsbad's predecessor located on the South Highway, had gathered. For true to the form of women, they could not help showing emotion at a time like this. Oh,
women are like that.
They just can't not.
I mean, hey, I love women, but to be honest, you can't even attempt to hang a man and then the rope be too long and then start shoveling underneath his feet so that he strangles, because in hanging the intent is to snap the neck,
Yeah.
so you're out, it's done. It's not, you're not supposed to die by strangling, a slow choking. That is, that's a bit, what?
Oh, I had to burp, sorry.
Oh.
The body was completely suspended now. The seconds were ticking away. An eon was passing by. Suddenly, the struggling cry was heard. "Cut me down, Dave." The lifeless body slumped forward, and the doctor pronounced Jim Barrett dead.
Oh. What the fuck?
Yeah.
so he's sitting there hanging, and the sheriff starts digging a hole underneath him so he strangles. And then he says, "Cut me down." And he does. And then he instantly falls over dead. I don't know. This whole thing is.
Yeah.
I'm not buying it. Okay. It looks like I didn't include the part in the newspaper where they say that Barrett is buried in the Carlsbad Cemetery, in the old section of the cemetery. And I wonder if they ever moved him. I wonder if he's still there. You and I need to go on a field trip. Go check out the cemetery and see Barrett's final resting place.
We'll go find Kemp's.
We need to figure out what happened to Kemp. I need to learn more about this man. I don't trust him. I mean, first of all, the sheriff should not be involved in illicit businesses. That is first and foremost a problem. And then Kemp happened to be right there at Seven Rivers when Barrett was making his getaway, and then Barrett had the jump on him and could have killed Kemp, but he set his guns down, and then Kemp takes him in and is later the one who executes him. I don't know. This whole thing sounds shady. I'm not buying it.
Sounds like a future movie starring Brandon Price McDaniel, Cayman News Productions.
Gosh, I love that
Yeah.
dramatic reading he did. Holy shit. I'm just blown away by it. But yeah, that's it. I'd say okay, we're at an hour and 2 minutes. So hey, that's good time, Pepito.
And Soy Teresa said, "Hey now,
Yeah,
we're an all-star."
because I pointed out that women
I
don't
know.
like to see men slowly strangled and everything.
They just do as women do with their emotions.
Okay.
Men don't
All right.
have those.
So, yeah, I think we are ready to close out the show. And Pepito, you know what next week is, don't you?
Finale.
Yes, the season 1 finale of Caveman News. Because our first episode was in the first week of January. So our next episode is going to be our final episode of the year, and that makes it a full season. We did a full year of doing this show, and instead of having a theme that we're going to discuss, a topic for the evening, next week is going to be Caveman News season 1 finale, and we're just going to talk about some of our favorite heroes that we've learned about in the process of doing this show. We're going to talk about Doc Noss. We're going to talk about Barrett. We're going to give a big fuck you to Kemp. We're going to maybe we'll play some clips. I don't know. It's just going to be a celebration of everything we've learned this year and
Caveman News extravaganza.
Exactly. That's to me that's the perfect way to end the year. And what is this? I'm sorry. I see Soy Teresa says, "Oh, are you?" But I don't see. Oh, are you? What did I say? Oh, I don't know. I am not sure. Pepito.
Oh, am I? Oh, are you?
And I get the reference, but I can't remember what I said that elicited that response. Let's close this thing out. Sorry, Teresa said you were closing the show. And yeah, it takes a while to close this show out. It's one of those. Pepito, you ready to jam this thing out?
For sure. Let's go.
Okay, here we go.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy New Year.
First of all, I have a question.
Okay.
Where's your mask?
My mask?
You're worth it. Let me order your pizza and put on my latest hardcore playlist. I love you guys. I love you guys. I love you guys. I love you guys.
Perfect execution. Perfect execution. Perfect execution.